This is Cindy Hyde from Real Talk with Joni and Cindy. We wanted to take just little tidbits of our programming. They're from 1 to 5 minutes long, and they're just informative little bites of information that you can listen to anytime from anywhere. Thank you for listening. You can reach Joni and Cindy at realtalkwithjoniandcindy@gmail.com. There's a couple of things that's kind of burning in my spirit. I really would like to share testimony, a personal testimony. Joni knows that throughout my lifetime I have dealt with rejection, and it started when I was just very, very young, as it has with most of you. And for those of you who have suffered from that particular pain and hurt in life, it can go really, really deep. And I read something that about how we're like a broken down house with windows and doors that are just shattered and broken, and that the things that have happened to us are like bombs that set up house and set up housekeeping inside our brokenness, whatever that is for you, whether it's that you've been rejected all your life, or whether you've been abused, or whether horrific things have happened to you, that those broken doors and windows can be repaired, and they can, healing can come. And so I just encourage you, if you're listening to this program, to begin to allow the Lord to point out those things that you need to be healed of. I got a fortune cookie, Joni, the other day at the Chinese restaurant, which, we don't believe in fortunes as Christians, but I think some of the sayings are kind of funny. One time we got one that said, kiss the person that next to you loves you. And then Michael got a cookie that said, kiss the person to the right of you, which I was sitting on his right. We thought that was pretty funny. But we got one the other day, and it said, God heals broken hearts, but he has to have all the pieces. I thought that was a pretty good fortune cookie. So what does that have to do with hurt, and how Jesus was hurt, and the example that he set for us is that we're human. He came as a human. He was hurt. He was rejected. He was despised. He was abandoned. He was betrayed. He went through every imaginable hurt also go through. He was abused by those that loved him, or was supposed to. Right. He was rejected for the very ones that he came for. So in the verses in Isaiah said he was despised, verse 3 in chapter 53 of Isaiah, that he was despised and rejected of men. Think how many times and how many, hundreds and thousands of people despised and rejected him, calling him a devil, just wouldn't have anything to do with him. Just think of Pontius Pilate and how he was forced to give Jesus over for crucifixion because he was so despised by the people that he came for. I just can't imagine that level of rejection. I know President Trump is kind of a man who is despised and rejected by men. But Jesus was a man of sorrows, it says, and pain. A man of sorrows and pain. Could you imagine the pain and the sorrow that being despised and rejected caused him even, and that he was acquainted with grief? I know when things happen to us, it can cause us to grieve because there's a loss of innocence. There's a loss of trust. And sometimes those wounds are so deep that they just seem like they're never going to go away. They're just always open and festering. But with Christ, it says in verse 4, but in fact he has borne our grief, and he has carried our sorrows and our pains. He was wounded for our transgressions, and he was crushed for our wickedness, for our sins, for our injustice, and for our wrongdoing. And like Miss Joni said, out of love. He did all this out of love. He didn't have to be despised, rejected. He's the King of Kings. I encourage you that through Jesus, you can find that place of peace and healing, but only through him are you going to find that peace. He is the Prince of Peace, and peace comes from no other than keeping your mind stayed on Him. Joni and I enjoy bringing motivational and inspirational programming to you. If you'd like to hear more programs, you can go to Spreaker.com/user/Real Talk with Joni and Cindy. We hope you tune in and listen again.